Hi, Karen Sullivan here with lifehealthmore.net. Thank you very much for checking in with me, either in live action or in replay. I there's I have questions. Um, it's been kind of a wild morning. I had classes this morning. My Monday is always very, very busy, and I had personal training clients also on top of that, which is fantastic. I love it. That's what I do. But to tell you a little bit about some of the thoughts that are on my mind, my mom last Sunday fell, and she's a heart patient. She has a heart valve, a mechanical heart valve, and has to be on Coumadin. And if any of you who have ever had the experience of a family member who's on Coumadin, it's really kind of stressful because you have to keep the blood at a certain level of thinness, of viscosity. Is that the word I want? It can't be too thin, it can't be too thick. And so she's tested like every 2 weeks, sometimes every week, I think. But what that's called is an INR. And so, anyway, the INR is supposed to be in that mean, which is somewhere around 2.5, 2.75. So what happened was that my mother fell, an accident. She was with a friend, and long story short, she hurt her calf, her left calf, and it was bruised. But for her, that's a serious thing because it means bleeding. And anyway, it got big and it got hot and it got really bad. And she eventually, her doctor put her in the hospital, and she's there now and she's fine. And what they found was that her INR, which is the thickness or thinness of the blood, was at 5, which made it so that she was bleeding. A bruise is bleeding, but when you have blood thinner, it really bled a lot. So it was pretty serious situation that they had to figure out. And the surgeons went in and said, okay, you don't need any surgery, and that's a great thing. We're going to get your INR in a line because it was all the way up at 5, so it was way too high. And so they gave her shots of vitamin K, brought it down, and they're stabilizing it. They're checking her twice a day. And so she's at home. No, she's not at home. That's not the truth. She's in the hospital still. And she said to the doctor, so how long is this going to take? He said, well, the body has to absorb the blood that's there. We have to monitor and make sure that your blood stays at this correct point, this correct set for that thinness and thickness, And, he said it'll take however long it takes. The body just has to function. We have to allow it to do its thing. Okay. So the question, and today I'm talking about everything takes time. The question and the impatience that people have when they are trying to lose weight is one of the most frustrating things for me, because everybody feels like it needs to be instantaneous. And I call it this microwave society that we have, that we feel as if we should be able to push a button and bammo, we're there, we are great. So I want to caution you and remember about how things work in life, okay? Look at the gestation period of a human being, at that 40 weeks and 38 to 40 or whatever, right? And then every other creature that gives birth, that gestation period is long because there are things that need to be happening before you can have a child, have a baby, right? So it's the same sort of thing for us in our microcosm of our bodies. We have a lot of things that have to happen in the body before the weight can come off. Now, there's a deeper level to that too, is because there are things in between the ears, there's things in the brain, there's things that have to do with how we are going to handle and understand our relationship with food and the kinds of things that we should be eating. And all of that goes back to first discovering what your why is, why it is you want to lose weight. Yeah, it comes even before you go, okay, I'm going to eat like this and I'm going to exercise 7 days a week and all that. Mm-mm. First, you need to back it up and think about, why do you want to lose weight? It's not, it's personal, and it's not anything that I think anybody should share with another person, because it's something that's deeply as personal as your religious beliefs. It is something that strikes a chord within your very essence. And so those things that make us weep, those things that make us just feel like we're going to explode with joy, that stuff that's deep down inside, that's the stuff that we want to hook onto and remember, because the things that are our deepest motivation are the things that are going to keep us going. They're going to keep us going back to the gym. They're going to get us to get that dog on the leash and go for a walk. So there you go. There you have it. So when you look at success stories, and that's the hardest thing, is that we look outside of ourselves and we see, oh, okay, well, this person lost 25 pounds in 5 months. Somebody else lost 86 pounds in like 15 months. And someone else that lost 140 pounds, and it took her 2.5 years, 30 months, right? So those things are somebody else's. That's not your story. That's not where you're coming from. And you need to remember that your body is going to do whatever it's going to do. The expression, it is what it is. I'm really not fond of that expression, but this applies here. It is going to be what it's going to be, period, because there are lots of things that you have to have in alignment for everything else to work. In the first place, I'll tell you, the three people that I talked about here were all women in their 20s. Okay. I'm 60. I know a lot of people that are in their 50s and 40s that are trying to lose weight, and even in their 30s. Every single person is an individual, and it will be whatever it's going to be for you. But it's hard. It's really hard to remember that. It's sort of like you've been in the twilight zone and you feel like, okay, I haven't seen it, and all of a sudden you reveal the curtain and you go, oh my gosh, where did I get this big belly or this big derriere? And it's at that point, everybody sort of feels like it's this knee-jerk panic reaction. I got to get this stuff off. I got to get it off. Got to get it off. If you heard the story about bamboo, you know how bamboo grows. That there is, it's really a grass, and it's like other grasses. It establishes a really good root system. It'll be alive. It sticks up out of the ground, but it's not showing any difference in the height, because it's building this really very intricate root system. That's what happens with us with losing weight. If you really want to be successful and skyrocket and shoot to the stars, you have to remember to do the work that's behind. It's sort of like in the green room or in the back door. That is the stuff that will help you to understand why you eat the way you do, how much you eat, and why you're eating that much. Years ago, I had a friend. She was younger. She was my age. This was when I was in my early to mid 30s. She was in her 20s and had come from a farm family in Oklahoma. And I think that growing up on the farm, and also everybody else around her, she was the only younger person, one child, and everybody else was older. And they were all in a generation of the whole war and having to worry about, standing in line to get food. Of course, there was no place out on the farm to go stand in line for food, but always being worried that you weren't going to have enough. And so she had a pantry that was just packed with food. I mean, packed. And she and her husband and a little girl. And I said to her one day, Shelley, why do you have so much food in here? And she said, that comes from growing up with a family that were all depression era people, and they were always afraid that you weren't going to be able, they weren't able to be able to get food. And so those things are also some reasons behind how we eat too. So you never know where stuff is going to come from, you guys. And that's the benefit of what coaching is about. That's what coaching is just honed to try to help you get past those things and bring realizations to mind so that you can understand about yourself. The best way to lose weight, absolutely, is to do it slowly. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. You don't want to just try to do a crash diet and lose weight right away. Because the fact of the matter is, if the weight is on you, then there is some sort of disconnect between the way we should be living and the way we are living. And so if we were living what is the best for us, I'm not passing judgment here, but if we were living the best that for us, then we would be eating right, and we'd be right with the world in general if we were following those things that are sometimes internalized. So remember that it's not just a matter of diet and exercise. There's way more than that involved, and coaching is where you can find that. Now, if you go and you can start coaching in my webpage, lifehealthmore.net, and you can subscribe there. Now, what that does is it sort of gets you in the back door to a whole series of modules, tutoring modules, and you get emails delivered to you, so that there are things that I have put together to help you understand about weight loss and to try to get on a path, and giving yourself some considerations too. My book, The Zen of Weight Loss, which always gets a terrible glare on it, The Zen of Weight Loss, is available on Amazon. It's also available as an ebook on Amazon. And then the journal that's the partner for that is Your Perfect Food Plan. Now, this helps you. See, this has lines in it. Can you see that? And this helps you to just begin to work through and understand, and just understand things about what it's like to contemplate and to write a journal. That's really what this is for. And you could also just get a spiral notebook and write, because the Zen of Weight Loss talks about how important it is to monitor and track the food that you're eating and how you feel about food and anything else that might come up in your daily life that you think is trying to derail you from from trying to get better. So that's it for Karen Sullivan today, lifehealthmore.net. Really, guys, it's a great way to get an idea of what kind of things coaching is. There's also a link to tell you more about coaching. You can always email me at Karen@lifehealthmore.net, and I'd be glad to talk with you further about it, and maybe we can have a phone conversation. But first and foremost, I want you to be the very best version of yourself for 2018 and beyond. Thanks, and have a wonderful day.